Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Ali and Stevie here in the studio. And Stewart Robson is here with us as well to answer your questions. All right. No funny quips or remarks at the top of the show?
I don't. Right. Were you expecting?
Sometimes
all I would Kate.
Tell me,
all I would say is the last time I was on the show, Sebastian Salazar had a mental breakdown. Has there been any repercussions about that?
Well, we did get quite a bit of content out of it.
You haven't been throwing paper around and doing all that sort of stuff?
Well,
not in my nature, Robbo.
Well, I tell you what has happened, Stewie. We now have a person that comes into the studio and sorts out the shot sheets for us so that people are not freaking out when they don't have the right shot sheet in their hands.
So basically, Sebi changed it for all of us.
Yeah.
You know, he walked so we could run.
Well, it sounded very good tonight. I thought you were so professional, Kate.
So the question is, Rob, here's the question for Robbo. So we're right down the pipe, right? Emotional breakdown. Do we go on the sympathy side? Or do we go on the pile-on side? What do you think?
Seb?
Yeah. Do you think we'd piled on or we'd sympathised?
Pile
on, absolutely.
Now, Stewie,
pile on.
Because I know sometimes technology is a problem in your setup. Were you able to see it? Were you able to actually see the video of him throwing stuff around?
Oh, I couldn't believe it. You know, I mean, I've seen people angry. That's the angriest I've seen anybody on a television set.
And maybe the happiest we've ever seen Craig on a television set. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. Well, obviously for the next 4 days, we got a lot more content out of it.
So what you're saying is that nothing makes Craig happier than somebody else's misery.
Perhaps.
All right, okay.
Okay, first question. Bayern Munich beat the champions of Europe and the world champions and are flawless so far this season. Are they the best team in the world right now?
Well, it's hard to argue against it.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when we talk about teams, it's like, oh, they're just perfect right now. No, Bayern Munich are literally perfect. Literally. And they're making it look so easy in Bundesliga. They are Vincent Kompany in playing against Bayer Leverkusen this past weekend, thinking that would be one of the teams that could potentially challenge Bayern Munich in Bundesliga. Maybe. He didn't start Harry Kane, he didn't start Luis Diaz, he didn't start Michael Olise. He made all sorts of changes. They were up 3-0 at halftime. And that's how every weekend seems to be at Bundesliga now. And so then it became really a question of, well, can they do it against PSG? Man, they can do it against PSG. Right now, they are certainly playing better than just about anybody else. And they're certainly, the odds that we show all the time in terms of who's going to win the Champions League, and somehow they were fifth best. I believe we have to climb that ladder a little bit when it comes to Bayern Munich. They're at the very worst top three, but they should be certainly in the top two.
Yeah, I think there might have been some changes in those
I'm just saying.
odds tables. Okay, Ali, when Thibaut Courtois is the best player in a Real Madrid game, is it a lack of creativity in the midfield or the back four its biggest problem?
Well, I don't know that there's a connection between the lack of creativity in the midfield to Thibaut Courtois being the player of the match. What I would say, though, is that there is a lack of structure in the midfield. And that back line, I was telling Stevie, I'm still not convinced by Dean Howson. My opinion. Other people may see it differently. Militao, while he covers a lot of ground with speed, sometimes he can be disorganized. Then you have Álvaro Carreras, who is more of a player that can give you an outlet down the left-hand side, but not necessarily a great 1v1 defending. And then you have on the right-back position a guy who's not a right-back in Fede Valverde. So you put those things together, you're going to need Thibaut Courtois to make some saves.
Stevie?
Yeah. Couldn't stop Liverpool in the middle. Couldn't stop them in the back line. And had to rely on another incredible performance from Courtois.
Sorry,
He still got beat.
Yeah, and sorry, I know we're moving on, but very quickly, let's not forget that when they were playing a couple of weekends ago against 9 men, Thibaut Courtois had to come up with a save to keep the result. That's where Real Madrid are. That even a team that is down a couple players, they can still create a really good opportunity.
Robbo, the only big match that Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid have won was El Clasico versus a Barcelona riddled with injuries. Is this Real Madrid side a paper tiger?
Paper tiger. I still think they're a decent side. They're going to win La Liga. I'm not sure what a paper tiger means, but are they the real deal? I'm not sure they are at the moment, and I'm not sure the manager has quite got to grips with some of the players. Even today, you know, we talk about Valverde having to play out position, but he's almost sort of playing. You can play it right back, but what we're going to play a midfield player in front of you who's going to tuck in a little bit so you can get forward down the right hand. So I'm not really just sticking you at right back. He almost like he's trying to keep everybody happy. He's saying to Bellingham, "Oh yeah, you can go and be a number 10 because you don't like running back and you don't like being a central midfield player," which he always was as a youngster and always was when he played for England. So he's trying to fit people in the side, and I don't think, as Ali just said, there doesn't seem to be a real structure about them. And against the very best teams in the big games in the Champions League, they're going to come up against some very good sides, and that's when they have to be structured. When things aren't quite going Mbappe's way, and it might not be going Vini Jr.'s way, you have to have a game plan and be structured to cope with those bad days. Today, they weren't structured, and they had a bad day.
And I don't want to take your words, Stevie, so I'll let you let the world know what is it that you were saying about Valverde playing at right back. Or do you even remember what you said about it? That he was being wasted out there.
Aye, wasted. You're correct. I said he's wasted. Yes.
And you miss everything that he actually brings in the middle.
Well, yeah. So when you try to fit, as Rob was talking about, trying to fit people in, you're kind of wasting all of them when you're just shoehorning them in somewhere. Like Camavinga playing where he played today is like, really? I mean, Ali was talking on the show about when the coaches sat down together, who came up with, let's play Camavinga wide on the right-hand side? So straight away, you're putting somebody outside the comfort zone, you're asking them to do something completely opposite of why you brought them to the club in the first place. But you're going to ask them to do it in one of the biggest Champions League games of the season. Oh, and by the way, behind you is going to be a guy who's playing right back, who should be playing in the middle of the park beside you, and he's going to supposedly keep you right, when he doesn't actually understand the right back position. So it creates problems. And when you get a problem on the right, it's a bit like getting injured. You know, when you injure your right knee, you end up putting all the weight on the left.
Compensation.
And so we saw that today. Everything went down the left. Everyone went down the left.
Oh, was it Ali did it?
Yeah, it was just... it messes everything up.
I've never put Stevie down as Dr. Stevie.
Yeah, no, you don't want me. You don't want me to be a doctor either.
Can you imagine Stevie walking in the room when you're all way out?
No, Robert, hey, the prescription for everything is lots of sausages and cigarettes.
Oh, dear.
Wait a minute, what?
That's why Stevie is not a doctor.
For some reason, Dan Thomas, while he's ill, sent me a picture of your breakfast before the Manchester United-Liverpool game, which had 4 sausages, 3 rashers of bacon, 3 eggs, 4 slices of toast, and a whole load of tomatoes. I suppose that was the healthy bit, the tomatoes. What's going on, Stevie?
Well, you need carbs, you need protein, you need, you need a little bit of stodge and a bit of fat.
You had all of it.
Well,
all of it.
I didn't want to miss out on anything.
In one go.
The whole day's calories in one plate.
Yeah,
all right.
That was only breakfast. That doesn't mean that he skipped lunch and dinner.
That was the start of the day.
Was Bradley excellent tonight, or was Vinny's performance subpar? I'm thinking a bit of both, to be honest.
I can't help the way I think, right? But at times, watching Bradley and Vinny, I'm like, where has this been all season? I mean, it wasn't just with him, but particularly with him. Where has this been all season? Because defensively, he's made mistakes. Tonight, he was like a tiger. He was like all over Vinny.
And not a paper tiger.
And not a paper tiger either. Now, a couple of times I think he was overzealous, but I would prefer that as opposed to the standing off and, I said in the show that Liverpool actually they had forgotten to play football. And so when you just go out and play, you do things naturally. And there was nobody overthinking it more, I think, than Bradley. Because when he was defending previously, he's thinking about all the things he's been told. You know, don't get too tight, don't get too far off. You know, you got to try and squeeze it. And then by the time you think all this, the guy's gone. And that's what was happening previously. So he, amongst a lot of them, have shown tonight that's the standard you've set yourself. And that's the standard you need to come up with every time you step on the field. And if he does that, he'll be playing right back. Whether Frimpong's injured or not, he will be the right back. So, yeah, I mean, it was great to see him doing well, but I hope he takes that lesson that that's your standard.
There's something to be said about just being excited about the challenge that you're about to face. And what I saw from Conor Bradley today is that rather than being intimidated by the fact that it's Vini getting after him, it was him being excited about this duel and being motivated by it and buoyed by the fans and the crowd and all that it means to play against Vini Jr. and saying, maybe other days you're gonna get the best out of me, but not today. Today, I'm gonna dominate this. And I think there is something to be said about the competition aspect of actually making this guy today is not better than me. And I'm gonna take pride in doing my job the best that I can, which I don't think Liverpool has done over the course of the season. And to your point, we saw it today from a lot of players, including, of course, Conor Bradley.
So what Alec's talking about there is, you know, you always hear us talking about, well, it's okay if you play for Bournemouth or Brighton or even Newcastle or whoever, right? And we always talk about to play for the big teams, to play for the Liverpools and the Man Cities right now and teams like that and the Barcelonas. That standard, that excitement, that wanting to get after it, it's what you have to do every single time you step on the field. And if you're playing Real Madrid, it's easier, I get it. But if you're going away to Bournemouth away on a freezing cold day in the middle of whatever, that's when you have to be still excited, still up for it, and still hold the standard. That's what makes you a Liverpool player or a Barcelona player at the very top. Not turning up every now and again because it's a big game and you're excited to play against a really good player. The best guys, and the reason teams like Liverpool and City and all these teams that win Champions Leagues consistently in Premier Leagues is because the majority of their players, when they turn up, whether it's the Bernabeu or the pub team down round the corner,
all right,
then you're there. That's where you play, regardless. I was going to say something else here, but fortunately pulled it back in.
All right, thank you, Stevie.
Probably better for us that that's the case.
That's how the sausage is made.
Last question, Robbo. Is it too early to talk about a quadruple run with Arsenal?
Oh, God. I don't think they're going to win the quadruple. I don't think
so
anybody ever
negative.
does. It's always difficult. But they're at the moment, I think they'll win the Premier League. It all depends what sides they put out in the League Cup and the FA Cup. And they're going to have a great run in the Champions League. I think they can get to the semi-finals, if not to the final. So I think they could probably win 2 trophies this year, but they're going to have to perform consistently well as they're doing at the moment. And as Ali said in the show, they're going to have a bad spell, and it's how they cope with that bad spell. Whether they when they lose a couple of games, whether they get their confidence back, or whether they go back into their shell. No one will know until that happens. But at the moment, I think they'll win a couple of trophies.
Okay, all right, that's everything. Thank you so much for sending in your questions for the latest edition of Extra Time. Be sure to join us